Hey guys, Kenya Horton, and in this video, I want to walk you through a quick analysis of a trade that we took as a team this morning, USD JPY. Now, the web analyzer, I believe, may have caught this trade. I'm just going to go through it with you on another chart because it works a little faster for me on this one. So the first thing that we do is we always check news. So we check FOREX Factory. We didn't have any high impact news for USD or JPY at this time when we entered the trade. So what we do is we quickly just look for our confirmations real quick to see if we have a possible setup. So at the time, we were looking at the 5-minute time frame, and we were looking to go long. So we were right around here at the bottom here. You'll see right here. This is pretty much where our entry was, right here, right around this area where my crosshair is. So you'll see that this red candle closed outside of the Bollinger. Actually, I'm sorry, we were about right here. This was our entry, what we were looking at. So it's been some time, I'm doing this recap. So this red candle here closed outside of the Bollinger Band. You'll see that the RSI came down to about the 20 level and crossed up, which is what we want. Then our stochastic, the blue line, came down to the 20 line and crossed above the red signal line, which is what we want for a buy. And then our MACD hadn't crossed yet, but right when our MACD crossed, you can see at the bottom of my screen, this little arrow is kind of hiding it, but right when the MACD crossed, that's when our trade went into profit and went long. But as you'll see, most times, and what I've discovered is that when the MACD crosses, you're going to have some pullback. So usually what I do is after I get a confirmation on the 5-minute time frame, I say, excellent. Now I'm looking for the same thing to play out on the 15-minute. This happens really quickly where I'm usually just going through my checklist and just seeing, hold on, let me close a trade real quick. I'm sorry. This usually happens really quickly. Yeah, let me close this trade. I'm sorry. All right. So this usually happens really quickly where I just look at the confirmations. And so after the 5-minute, I don't even touch the 5-minute anymore. As long as I have a confirmation on the 5-minute, I don't even care what happens on the 5-minute anymore because I'm looking for it to play out on the 15-minute. So I look for the same setup on the 15-minute. This is where we were this morning down here where my crosshair is. But after I see that, okay, it's coming together, the 15-minute MACD has not yet crossed, I go to the 1 hour really quickly, and I just look at the overall trend. And if you quickly just look at it, once you start to identify trends, you'll be able to see really quickly if you're in an uptrend or if you're in a downtrend. One of the things I noticed is a bearish flag pattern. So what I did was I got a trend line and I just quickly drew a trend just to see, am I currently in an uptrend or a downtrend? And you can see that price is within this. Basically, I'm just trapping price when I draw this trend line. I'm looking to see the overall trend, and then if I were to put another line on this side, I'm basically trapping price between two trend lines, okay? So we have a nice little slight uptrend here, but overall we're in a downtrend, and we have a bearish flag pattern forming here. But as you can see, price came down to this level, respected this trend line. Look at all these wicks. So this tells me that sellers are losing strength as we come to this major level here. So price comes down to this trend line, respects this trend line, reverses off of this trend line and heads long. And then you'll see that when I go down, so after I do that, I'm sorry, let me go back to the 1 hour. So after I quickly draw my trend line, I then just look at possible areas of support and resistance to see where exactly do I possibly want to take profit, especially since I'm scalping. I'm not looking to be in for a very long time. I'm going to show you how I manage this trade, but I'm just looking for possible areas of where to take profit. So this is at the top of our channel here. We have major resistance there, and you can see that price is almost there in that area. You'll see that. And then let's see here. So you could have taken profit at a few different levels here. I'm just going to mark some areas just for example. Okay. So then after I do that, I go ahead and I turn it back to my candles. And you can see prices within these targeted areas that I marked, these key support and resistance levels. So if I jump down to the 15-minute time frame and I then add my other indicators back, let's look at how it played out. So normally what you want to do is now I'm a little advanced, okay? So I like to, there are certain things that I do and certain things that I notice that a beginner probably wouldn't notice. But how I teach our team is that with the KiSS strategy, our main goal is to minimize our risk as much as possible. So we don't want to wait for the MACD to cross. Like if you discover this trade late and you see that price is already has moved this much, you don't want to get in the trade because you're entering, that's a bad entry. You're entering in the middle of momentum. You want to enter close to a level of structure where there's higher highs, higher lows, lower highs. And so you want to make sure that you're entering in those areas. So this would be an ideal area of entry if we were planning to go long. So we would need our confirmation on the Bollinger Band, which we had, our RSI, the stochastic, and right when that MACD crosses, your goal is to enter the trade. You want your entry to be 3 to 4 pips from this major reversal area. So if our lowest low is at 111.11, we actually had a little drawdown there. So I think we got in right when the MACD crossed. Okay, so it actually came back down a little bit. And so you want to get in within 3 to 4 pips from this area. So let's say if price is here, 11111. You want your entry to be about 11113 or 14, because your max stop loss, ideally, my max stop loss is 8 pips. You don't have to do the same stop loss that I do, but I've done a lot of practice, a lot of studying, a lot of hours into this strategy and trading overall. And what I've found is that for me to be profitable, I have to keep my risk minimal, especially when scalping. So your goal is to be within 3 to 4 pips from this entry level here. Once we got in, price took off a little bit, and then what did it do? It pulled back to retest this trend line. And normally you're gonna find that when the MACD crosses. So a lot of you hear me talk about pullbacks. I usually will take profit a little bit. I'll take about 5 to 6 pips profit, and then I'll let price pull back. It doesn't always pull back, but a lot of times it will pull back to retest. And then I will re-enter again, and I will go ahead and ride that momentum up. And I just take profit from zone to zone. Once I get about 10 pips in profit, I will move my stop loss to 1 pip past my entry. So if I enter at 11114, once I'm about 10 pips in profit, I move my stop loss to 111.15 for a stop loss. Why do I do that? Because let's say if price gets to about right here where my crosshair is, but then it decides to reverse and pull back again, right? Well, let's say it pulls back and then it breaks this trend line and I'm like, oh no, what happened? Then I'm stopped out with 1 pip in profit. So if the trade goes against me, then my capital is protected. I don't have to worry about, oh no, I'm negative 20 pips. I don't have a stop loss in place and now I'm panicking, okay? So that's how I manage the trade most times. And then I just have my take profit from zone to zone. So my zone to zones are marked with these major support and resistance areas. You'll see that I marked these levels where price visited these areas in the past, and these areas were strong areas of support and resistance, all right? So if I see that price has tested these areas multiple times in the past, more than likely it's gonna do the same thing again. So that's the idea behind that. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. You'll see that it's almost at my next target here. And this was an awesome trade for us as a team overall. Let's see, I did drop this in Telegram, and I'll just show you kind of the step-by-step that I like to share in Telegram so that you kind of know what to look for. You know, I always will drop a trade idea, and I'll usually say, I do my best to protect you, but I'll usually say, for example, KiSS trade idea, USDJPY, long means to go for a buy when all rules are confirmed, and I give you the ideal entry most times. Or like AUDUSD, we had a trade and I gave you a notice that it was going short, but I told you wait for 15-minute MACD to cross and try to enter within 3 to 4 pips of, and I told you the price area, or wait for a pullback. So I just give you those details. I always try to show recaps and show what we're learning from the trade, help you journal the trade, give you ideas of what you should be looking for. And also, I know sometimes you guys freak out when we have a little drawdown. So like this morning, I gave you some reassurance that, hey, we're okay. Price is just retesting that trend line there and we should be okay. But we don't panic because we have a stop loss in place in case price goes against us. So guys, I hope that this is very helpful for you. I'll continue to do lots of recaps of trade ideas because I think that will help you as well. Look forward to seeing you guys on some live trading sometimes as well. And be sure to join our public Telegram where you can definitely learn more. Looking forward to bringing this to IML TV hopefully one day soon, and definitely on the IML Web Analyzer. See you guys.